So great that you're here in the miracle work, that you decided to join today. I really love that. See, there's even more coming. That's great. So continuing today with the chapters, and the chapters are something else. We're in chapter 3, and so we're talking about communication today, the accuracy of communication, and that's a very interesting part of the chapter. So again, some real fundamental things, ideas are being shared, the ones that will turn your world a little bit upside down when you hear them, and that is just lovely, because what is real will always be there, and what isn't can go. We don't need it. So this is what we're looking at today, and use slides or the sheets, however you want to call them, with say statements or sentences from the Urtext manuscripts of A Course in Miracles, and they have not been edited, so it's like the pure transfer of the information as received by Helen Schuckman, and so which is really helpful to me, because it's a bit more work to actually say get it, or to put it in place where how to listen to it. But when you do that, that's just very lovely. So I always discover something new by doing so, and I hope you do too. And so it would be great just to start and see where this leads us. So there's, like I said, it's really like fundamental ideas. And so I'm making things for you ready. So today in the later in the meditation, we have the accuracy of perception coming to us also. I just recorded the video for that, and which is then my holy vision sees all things as pure. My holy vision sees all things as pure, which is just totally lovely. So anyway, so today is the day of the holy vision, you could say. The miracle is accurate perception. So the miracle is accurate perception. Okay, so this is a very interesting part where we start with. And something that is more, say, that entered into your consciousness more than you expect it to do. Anyway, so I'll start slowly, and certainly it will become clear what I mean with that. We have repeatedly stated that the basic concepts referred to throughout the notes are not matters of degree, like some things are not matters of degree. And what that means is, I'll come to that in a second. Certain fundamental concepts cannot be meaningfully understood in terms of coexisting polarities. For instance, it is impossible to conceive of light and darkness, or everything and nothing, as joined possibilities. They are all true or are all false. It is absolutely essential that you understand completely that behavior is erratic until a firm commitment to one or the other is made. Okay, so we're dealing here with the very, very basics. We have repeatedly stated that the basic concepts referred to throughout the notes are not matters of degree. So what do we mean by that? Like there's no such thing as degrees. Well, I have to tell you a little story, which makes it clear, at least. It's my own awakening story. Part of my own awakening story is this. It's like as soon as I had my, say, first revelation, you could say, in which something was shown to me of pure vision, there was the time that I started to share that with my so-called friends. And that was very interesting because I was talking in light without opposite. You know, it's like, no, there's no opposite to light. It is not darkness and light. No, like light has no opposite. And so just about half of my friends ran away because I also said, if one thing is all, there cannot be something else. Like, you're completely a whole part of God. Well, when I used the word God, say another half of them ran away. So there were not many friends left. So then combining this together, it was like, it is not that I'm trying to make a statement here or trying to discuss if there's such thing as wholeness or as light or as a love without opposite. There's no love. And love does not have an opposite. If you talk about love in terms of hate and love, it is not love where you talk about. So it's like, it doesn't have degrees. It is either total love or it isn't. So it's either total light or it isn't. It is either totally innocent or it isn't. You know, there's no in between. There's no mix to make. Now, this is a big one, I can tell you that. So no friends were left at that point. That was just a couple of hours later. I never saw them again. So that's one anecdote. But see, it's like, this is not the way a human wants to think, because we, as human, coming from a human perspective, you always look for a gray area, for a mix-up, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of good and a bit bad. Yeah, like you can never be totally good. No, you're also bad. You can never be completely pure. You also can be sinful at the same time. Like, no, wait just a minute, wait just a minute. So the loveliness that is being presented today in this video, like in this text that we share, is that there is such a thing as the purity of you, and there is such a thing as the innocence that is you, without an opposite, without an opposite. So that is crucial and like really good to let that sink in a little. Now you see in many expressions or many talks of Joel that Joel speaks about degrees a lot, and this is very interesting to take another look at, because it's like, it really depends on where you can talk about. Like, you either are realized or you're not. You know, there's no in between. A little bit Christ-mindedness, a little bit Christ-mindedness is nothing. Now you either see with Christ's vision or you don't. You know what I mean? It's like there's no in between. And this is really good to recognize in yourself. And why is that so good? Well, that's what we discover in the next couple of slides too. It's like there will be more and more examples, and why it does work that way, and why your recognition of that is just as important. Like, because it establishes your behavior too. And not that we're never concerned about your behavior. You can do anything you like. But coming from a pure vision, that what flows out of you in terms of behavior can be congruent with that or not. So you could say like 3 things are coming back in that. It's like what you say, what you do, and there's one more. What you say, what you do, and what you think is one thing. If that is one thing, you literally established peace of mind in you. Like, and that is a real beautiful, focus for your learning. And I will come back today in this moment together. So what you learn, now what you say, what you do, and what you think, when that is one thing, you cannot have a conflict. So as soon as you think something different than you do, then something goes wrong. Or when you say something different than you're actually thinking, you say yes, while you actually mean no. You have a conflict. Well, you think that doesn't disturb your peace of mind? Yes, it does, of course. So this is what I mean with the basics that we're looking at today, and also how this is, how this comes back into your behavior. But yeah, so just for yourself to check it out. So I'm sharing the next. So I'm just going through this in a very easy way. So you see in the last couple of points is like it is impossible to conceive of light and darkness or everything and nothing as joint possibilities. They are all true or all false. It is absolutely essential that you understand completely that behavior is erratic until a firm commitment to one or the other is made. Like you either allow the light to come into your life, into your consciousness, when you allow that. It's like when you have a firm commitment to allow that to occur to you, your behavior will become different. Like there's no wavering, there's not much like an extreme to discover. No, it's like it becomes quiet in that, because it all comes from your one firm commitment to the light. A firm commitment to darkness, on the other hand, or nothingness, is impossible. Okay, so a firm commitment to darkness or nothingness is impossible. So that's not an option in the first place. But anyway, you can think you do. Nobody has ever lived who has not experienced some light and some of everything. So it's like, that's impossible. Don't fool yourself thinking that you have a commitment to darkness or anything. It's like, no. That is never possible. This has made everybody really unable to deny truth totally, even if he deceives himself in this connection most of the time. That is why those who live largely in darkness and emptiness never find an everlasting solace. Like, it seems a choice apparently to choose for darkness and emptiness, but it doesn't give you any lasting solace. Maybe for just a moment it appears that way, but then it's taken away again. So this all reaches much further than you can possibly think right now. It's like it reaches so far into human behavior, it's unbelievable. Because what is darkness? What is emptiness? It's like all the things that you do to make true what isn't. Thinking, yeah, I can list it up, of course. Thinking in terms of lack, limitation, of disease, disaster, and all this. Thinking that that is what you are. So that can never give you any lasting solace. So this is just one part of it. It's like lack, limitation, disaster, and disease. You could say like, yes, of course, I understand. That's nothing. Like that's not a choice I would make to go for that. But the darkness also is then in, say, caressing or, holding your human ideas about things, holding your opinions, defending yourself against something, valuing things that have in truth no value at all. That's in fact celebrating death. That's darkness and emptiness. So it does not give you lasting solace. Now we come to the word innocence. So innocence is also not a partial attribute. Like there's no such thing as a little bit innocence. A little bit innocent. It is not until their innocence is a genuine viewpoint, which is universal in its application, that it becomes wisdom. So innocence is not a partial attribute. So you cannot be a little bit innocent and a little bit sinful, that doesn't make any sense. So either you see everything and everyone in innocence, recognizing that in yourself, or you haven't seen it, or that means nothing to you, or you don't see innocence. You can call something innocent, but it has to be all-inclusive. If you see something innocent, it needs to be extrapolated to every aspect of what you see, recognizing that that's the fundamental, law of perception with a capital P, like with Christ's vision. I see all things as pure. My holy vision sees all things as pure. There it comes back again. I just read this lesson, so it's right here. Like, I see all things as pure. With my holy vision, I see all things as pure. See, there's no exception to that. There's not a little bit of this and a little bit of that. No, it's either I see this way, or I don't see it at all. Either it is there for me to see, or it is not there at all. But there's no in-between, there's no gray area, there's no middle of the road, there's nothing like that. Now this is good for yourself to recognize, because what happens is that you cannot fool yourself in trying to make a mix of it, like trying to combine a little bit of innocence and a little bit of that. So this is just good for your own, thinking, for your own purity of thought, you could say, to apply this. It's like, what am I saying? And why am I saying it like this? Do I think that there's a partial idea of innocence, that some are, excluded from it, and some are included? Really? It's like, no. Innocence is not a partial attribute. We just read that. It's like, innocence is not a partial attribute. Either I'm seeing that in everything and everyone, including myself, or I don't see it. See, and this is a level of honesty that I love to talk about, in the sense. It's like, I love to talk about this or look at it with you like this, because this is a depth of honesty that is pretty amazing. That's not so common in the human thinking. Yeah, so I love this part of the chapter. It's unbelievable how the study of it, or the standing still with it, reveals to you what is actually in it. This is like, okay, we look at what we looked at in the first 10 minutes of this. Look how that is so fundamental in that what you see and how you think about what is going on. Like, so fundamental, you can't believe it. So we continue. So yeah, I want to know more about this. Innocence is not a partial attribute. It is not until their innocence is a genuine viewpoint, which is universal in its application, that it becomes wisdom. Excuse me. Innocent or true perception means that you never misperceive and always see truly. More simply, this means that you never see what does not exist in reality. Whenever you lack confidence in what someone else will do, you are attesting to your belief that he is not in his right mind. this is hardly a miracle-based frame of reference. So we're getting a little bit more practical here. Innocent perception means that you never misperceive and always see truly. I love the idea of innocent perception. Like, you know where that place is inside of you. You know, there's a place in you where you can look with an innocent perception. And this is what I love. I love that. My holy vision sees all things as pure. You know, it's like right here. There's it. Yeah. So more simply, this means that you never see what does not exist in reality. You can also say, like, whatever does not exist in reality, all the temporal, ephemeral, I look through it, beyond it, to see what is really there. Like, we will come back to the how do you do this in the next couple of sheets. But it's great. So whenever you lack confidence in what someone else will do, well, does that happen to you, that you say don't trust or lack confidence in what someone else will do? You are attesting to your belief that he is not in his right mind. Now you say, like, well, yeah, but I get proof of that he isn't. Okay. I want to look you straight in the eye. I want to look you straight in the eye. So whenever you doubt anyone, you know, whenever you doubt your brother and thinking that he's not in his right mind, you cannot call that, say, innocent perception, right? So whenever that occurs, you're actually, saying that you cannot see with innocent perception. Now, the thing then is that you come to me or you tell me, yeah, listen, I got proof that he was not in his right mind. He did this and this and this and this. That's why he's not in his right mind. And so what am I going to tell you? What I'm going to tell you is this, is like, you can prove with your perception whatever you like, because that's the only thing you use perception for, to prove that your ideas are right. But it doesn't make it real. It doesn't make it a fact. Like, perception is not a fact. It is a reflection. So you want it to see like that, and guess what? You see it like that. So this is a game that you play with yourself for a long time until you discover that you're doing it. We know this. It's like, yeah, don't try to think about pink elephants. Well, the first thing you do is thinking about a pink elephant. Or stuff like this. Proving that your brother isn't in his right mind. You spend some time of the day doing so, thinking like, what is this crazy guy doing? I can't believe it. I can't believe it that he just did that. I saw him do it. And you take that as a fact. You take that really as proof that your ideas are right. And hence you are, say, caught in a dream that has no reality, but confirms to you all the ideas that you have because you literally project it outside of you. And it's just this way that it works. So now here we come again with the beautiful innocent perception. It's like the innocent perception has nothing to defend, has nothing to prove, has nothing to analyze, has nothing to compare, because it sees everything as whole and perfect, like it sees everything as pure. So now that is a real possibility for you to see, you know. That's why we talk about this, and that's why we practice this. And that's why you will see this. Like, don't believe me on my words, but experiment with it and do follow the instructions that are given in a moment for that to discover for yourself, because that's what's going to be given. So perception, like never use it as proof to plead your brother guilty, or to plead yourself guilty, or yeah, it just is nothing. It is nothing. It's a reflection of what you are thinking. That is all. And you can prove to yourself whatever you like, but it doesn't make it real. So now this holy vision that sees all things as pure is in fact then your opportunity to go beyond the mesmerism, beyond the Fata Morgana, beyond the hologram where you see your thoughts reflected, all of this, and have a whole different experience of defenselessness, not having to prove anything. In fact, say, residing in the love of God with peace of mind. Like that's where this is for, not for anything else. Okay, so the last sentence I really like too. This is hardly a miracle-based frame of reference. So this is our new right mind, this miracle-based frame of reference. I like that idea. It is also the disastrous effect of denying incorrect use. Oh yeah, it also has the disastrous effect of denying or incorrect use the essentially creative power of the miracle. Like now you have in everything that is occurring a possibility for a miraculous event, but you choose to have your own experience. I always love to talk like this. It's better. So it's like you lose the creative power of the miracle that would offer you the liberation of your petty, say, perception. Sorry to say. So it's like whatever you see and prove to yourself as real for your brother, about your brother, condemning him to whatever, thinking that he did something not right, and yeah, being kind of happy with that for yourself temporarily. Say you miss basically deny the creative power of the miracle that would offer you both a different experience. You miss that. So that whole scenario is just not going to happen. You could say like there's a parallel universe next to this one, which offers you continuously miracles in every situation. So it's not as static as you think. So the creative power of the miracle is always with you. And that means all situations that you think you're in or stuck in have an opposite, like have a real healing alternative. So I won't say the word opposite because then it looks like, okay, you can choose whatever you like. But it's more like the creative power of the miracle. You don't want to miss out on that because it offers you something that you cannot come up with yourself. It is going to be given to you, and it confirms your oneness with your brother instead of the same old story that you tell yourself. So you see, like, that's why we're here, to practice this too. It's like, that's why you're here in all these situations, all these circumstances, all these people that you meet during the day. There's a perfect plan behind this appearance, you know. So, but I I really love this. I love to share this with you because it's like the slowly but certainly it becomes obvious that there's always an alternative to the situation that you think you're in, which is the only one you really want. Well, this is where we are. So we're getting to the instruction part almost. Okay, so the miracle perceives everything as it is. Right-minded seeing cannot see anything but perfection. Right-minded seeing cannot see anything but perfection. We have said many times that only what God creates, or what man creates with the same will, the will of God, has any real existence. This, then, is all that the innocent can see. What is created, what's created by God or created by man with the same will, has real existence. The rest does not exist. That's the only thing the innocent can see. They do not suffer from the delusions of the separated ones. So right-minded seeing cannot see anything but perfection. We have said many times that only what God creates, or what man creates with the same will, has any real existence. This, then, is all that the innocent can see. They do not suffer from the delusions of the separated ones. Yeah, this is lovely. So it's a bit like the separated ones. You could see as an almost like as an foamy structure, like everyone in his own bubble, proving to itself right. Like, yes, I'm right. This is my idea. That is my idea. Like, as soon as that bubble bursts, then it's like how the innocent perceive is without defense, is not with any necessity to separate oneself off, but always inclusive, all inclusive, making no exceptions. Well, this is a lot easier, of course, to live like this than to make exceptions continuously. Like, even for that, even if you look at it in an energetic way, it would be very efficient to come to right-mindedness. It saves you a lot of trouble to differentiate from your brother and to make yourself separate and to prove that separation is real. This is, of course, a paradoxical way of saying it, but it is. I love this idea. Like, it's very efficient to stay out of the defense mode, because then it's just like, yes, of course I share this with you. Yes, absolutely. It's like there's no war going on at all, and yeah. Unity is sharing, is abundance, is innocence, is wholeness, is all of that. So one day we will learn this on this planet, probably. One day. And why not today? So that's one thing. So we have some biblical reference too in a moment. But that's not here yet. Oh, yeah, so here's our instruction. So the way to correct all such delusions is to withdraw your faith from them and invest only in what is true. To whatever extent you side with false perception in yourself or others, you are validating a basic misperception. And you cannot validate the invalid. I would suggest, Jesus says, I would suggest that you voluntarily give up all attempts. I would suggest that you voluntarily give up all attempts to do so, because they can be only frantic. If you are willing to validate what is true in everything you perceive, you will make it true for you. See, this is another very basic law of accurate perception, you could say. Remember that we said that truth overcomes all error. So I really had to write that down below, because it's like, yeah, let's not forget that. Like, truth overcomes all error. Light abolishes darkness. It shines it away. It's the same idea. The way to correct all such delusions is to withdraw your faith from them and invest it only in what is true. So this has an impact on how you behave and how you respond. Sure, absolutely. So you cannot confirm anything that is related to separation or to defense or attack or differentiation or analyzation or comparison or any of those things. Like, you cannot do that any longer. So to whatever extent you side with false perception in yourself or others, you are validating a basic misperception. And the problem that you're going to have with it is that it's going to be confirmed in you. So you actually walk around with this false perception, making that true to yourself in whatever situation. Because until you voluntarily give up the idea, you still walk around with it. So when you withdraw your faith from it and invest only in what is true, we're making some serious progress, you could say. If you are willing to validate what is true in everything you perceive, what is true in everything you perceive, you will make it true for you. Now, this is, of course, something that we are practicing in our spiritual awakening. We are practicing this, by all the means that we can find to make this work. It's like you want to confirm the truth. That's why I love these almost like declaration classes in which you state something that's really resonating with you. You confirm the truth of it and give that away. You confirm it to yourself and you give it away to your brother, and recognizing the truth in it together. That's really great. That's real progress, because then it's like it works two ways. So you no longer have your head full of delusion. Now you're actually discovering what it means to have truth come to you, and stating that to yourself, because that's the only thing that's really happening. You can say, like, I'm teaching only myself. If I hear what I'm actually saying and would accept that for myself, then all is well, then all is well, then it's incredible, So if I confirm the truth that I share with you in myself and accept it, then I open my vision to truth. I'm going to see it confirmed everywhere. So that's the other way too. It's like, once this pure perception comes to you, you see it confirmed everywhere. I said this the other day, it's like the prophecy is fulfilled. It's fulfilling itself right now, continuously. You see the prophecy fulfilled, like, I and my Father are one. And that's not a prophecy, but it's a statement. But it's like the prophecies are fulfilled. All this that was being prophesied is going to be fulfilled in me as a recognition of my oneness with my Father, my Creator, my I, my however you want to call it. Whatever name of choice you might use in your thinking. I, Father, Master, God, who knows what name you have. So this is the instruction for today. This is the instruction of, okay, take away your faith. Like, don't confirm the misperceptions to yourself. Don't try to defend it at all. Don't hold on to it. No, let it go. Because then something else can come to you. Otherwise you're still running around with this backpack full of opinions and statements about everyone and everything, and you sure as hell are busy defending it until you don't. Okay, so here's a biblical reference. Yep. But this we know, that when he shall appear, or be perceived, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. And every man that has his hope, this hope, in him, purifieth himself even as he is pure. Oh, I love this. So but this we know, that when we shall appear or be perceived, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. And every man that has this hope in him purifieth himself even as he is pure. Like there's nothing to be purified, but when you start to see this, you will recognize your true identity. Yeah. Every man does have the hope that he can see correctly, because the ability to do so is in him. Every man does have the hope that he can see correctly, because the ability to do so is in him. Man's only hope is to see things as they are. So that's in relationship with the part of John 3 here. It's like, and every man that has this hope in him purifieth him even as he is pure. Like man's only hope is to see things as they are. So that's a little bit closer, and I love that. It's like, it's your only hope of true perception is really to allow that to occur. Like to see that that's the only real thing that is going on. Now, and this is what I love about the idea of atonement. So the atonement word we use a lot. Like the idea of atonement is really based on the one hand about the undoing of your ideas, like and your defenses and your, everything that you do to in fact establish a self-identity. So when that, say, melts, you could say, and what is left is your true identity that was always there in the first place. I love that about atonement. It's like it melts whatever isn't until nothing is left. Like everything is evaporated, and what is left here is what you truly are. That what you see. So this you can say use too in the way of how you perceive. Let everything melt down. Let every defense melt. Let every reason that you can come up with be still, in order to let it melt into what is already there. That saves you a lot of trouble, in the sense of what you're going to perceive is actually your fulfillment. What you're going to perceive is actually already yours. You will feel very much at home with it. Like it doesn't need any doing on your part. It is just a matter of recognition. And yeah, that's so lovely. So I love this. So thank you so much for this. I will read today's lesson to you. My Holy Vision is lesson 263 from A Course in Miracles. My holy vision sees all things as pure. Father, your mind created all that is. And here's another one. Your spirit entered into it, and your love gave life to it. I love that. Father, your mind created all that is. Your spirit entered into it. It's like your breath. Your love, your heart gave life to it. And would I look upon what you created as if it could be made sinful? Would I look upon what you created as if it could be made sinful? I would not perceive such dark and fearful images. A madman's dream is hardly fit to be my choice. Instead of all the loveliness with which you blessed creation, all its purity, its joy, and its eternal quiet home in you, and while we still remain outside the gate of heaven, let us look on all we see through holy vision and the eyes of Christ. Let all appearances seem pure to us, that we may pass them by in innocence, and walk together to our Father's house as brothers and holy sons of God. My holy vision sees all things as pure. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being in this class, in this moment together where we look at the holy vision, like your pure and holy vision. And you got instruction how to do this today. So that's so great. So thank you for your presence, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.